Now this is going to be a series on how to adjust your idle mixture and how the different size jets work. Now, to understand a carburetor, a two-stroke motorcycle carburetor or a single carb, we have to do a little bit of background on it first to understand the theory. Once you understand the theory, it's really relatively easy. We have the main jet that's in the float bowl, which is a square thing as a float bowl. The main jet sucks up the fuel and turns it to vapor, and you'll see where it says mixture. That goes into the engine. The engine vacuum sucks it in. That's what vacuum does. Now the throttle slide, which is mine is on a D valve, let's say. The higher that you lift that up, the more air comes in the air horn at the back, and the air comes from the back. It goes through the slide area, and then it goes into the engine. Now remember that a carburetor is nothing more than a metering device. That's put that simple. It meters the approximate amount of air fuel that you need to run a two-stroke or a four-stroke engine at approximately 14 parts air to 1 part fuel. Now, if you can have this set up to do that, then you're doing fine. Now someone says, well, why can't you just set it and forget it? Well, there's a reason for that. You may live in India, you may live in tropical Australia, you may live in Antarctica. Different air densities will cause the fuel and the air ratios to change greatly, along with the fact that you may be a real fat old American who still has his hair like me, and that will change your riding style. You may be using different types of fuel. You may be using low lead 100 proof octane. You may be using race fuel 110. You may be using oxygenated fuel 115, or you may be using nitromethane, which you're totally crazy, but it could be done. All these fuels and all these changes affect fuel ratio. I don't know how I can enlarge this anymore, but these are all motorcycle carburetors. You can see they're all different kinds, la la la. It doesn't matter who they come from. The thing is, they're all the same. They're just like a car. Okay? You can drive a Ferrari or you can drive a Yugo. It will drive the same. Meaning it will have a steering wheel, a clutch, and 4, 5, or 6 gears. The only thing that's different is the price of the rig. And their adjustments are the same. Now, this is a standard round slide carb, which was used for years. There's nothing fancy about it. Your air comes in your back. Your fuel is in a float bowl. The fuel is those little tiny dots. The fuel goes through your jet, comes up as a small stream, and vaporizes with the air, and the fuel go into your, it's a heavy wet mixture, it goes into your engine. Now I'm showing you all this before I get into the actual showing you the carb and everything, because we need to know how all this works. Now another good thing is to go on the web and look at all the parts that are in the carburetor. Now this one has a whole shitload of parts that you don't need, but I don't know what it is, but I could adjust it by just looking at it. And then this is a really good gauge right here. What this shows you is your pilot or your air screw jet on your bottom here. It is going to help you through your first 1/8 through 1/4 throttle. Your throttle valve cutaway goes from your 1/8 to 1/2 throttle. Your main jet goes from, like I told you before, 1/4 to all the way open. And your jet needle and main jet go to full throttle, which they've kind of added a couple steps in there they didn't really need to add. Now, this is the problem that I talked about. This is the most common problem in carbs. This is where this carburetor has been sitting with a full float bowl of gas in a hot place or something like that, and you can tell where the gas is evaporated, and what you have is this honey-like mess gas additives. And what they've done is they've gone into the main jet, which is right there, and they've gone into the pilot jet right there. And that's why you can put in fresh gas and it won't work, because you're not getting any gas to go into the engine. So you take your carburetor apart and you fix it like that. You clean these out, put them back in, and usually it should run fine. Now, this is a something like on a 550. It has 4 carburetors. They're all exactly the same. Their linkage is just a little bit hard to do. Now, this is another diagram. Now, you can find all this on the internet, and it's very good to study. But I'm going to just try and put it in layman's terms. Here is where you have one of the old style carbs where the float bowls were made of brass and they were hollow, and sometimes you get a hole near the soldering joints, and you can see the main jet and the pilot jet. They have the same thing. What they have is very, very old dried gas on them, and you just take this apart and clean it. And then, of course, it's very important that you get yourself a helper to work on that BMW. Now, I would suggest that if you do happen to find a helper, that she be pretty healthy, so that you're really motivated to get that bike done, so you can go out and be young like I was at one time. So I would suggest that you find that isn't that a great bike? I mean, look at that. That is the nicest BMW I've seen in a long damn time. Well, that's it for my old man moment. Alright, now on to the actual carbs.